Welcome back to the Four Pillar Podcast, where we stand for faith, family, fitness, and finance. And today we have another special guest in. We have a firefighter. So it's early one morning, a nice, dreary, dreary April day. Dreary November day. And you're deep frying your turkey outside in the garage, and you forget to thaw that bad boy, and you're just like, whatever. We're just going to throw it right in the deep fryer. And before you know, boom, your whole house is on fire, Matt.
Yeah. Who do I call?
Who do you call?
I call Kyle. I don't call the fire department.
I was going to say call the fire. So we have a firefighter today. We have Kyle here with us, and super excited about this. We had a police officer in last week, and I think it's really cool to get to have people that serve the community come in and just talk about different things and stuff that's going on. And first of all, too, Kyle, I just want to thank you for your service to the community. Anybody in the EMS field, police, all that stuff. I mean, I think they're crucial, obviously, to our communities. So just thank you for doing that.
And thank you for the support. We appreciate it.
So go ahead and tell us about yourself. Matt said you have a story, but tell us just how long you've been firefighting for, and all that good stuff,
and how you got into it.
Well, so my name's Kyle. I'm a third generation IAFF firefighter. By card carrying member, I'm been a firefighter for about 10 years, 5 of which has been full time. Originally, I was going to be a diesel mechanic. I went to trade school. I went to NADC, worked for Cummins for about 4.5 years. And, in 2010 had, eventful year. In January, got engaged. A couple months later, my grandmother unexpectedly passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that.
A couple weeks later, my brother unexpectedly passed away. Changed jobs, moved out of state, got married. My other grandma passed away, and then we found out my mom's breast cancer came back. So I was in a really dark place. I was probably drinking a little too much. If I wasn't married to a better woman, probably would have been divorced and a bunch of bad things. My dad, being a firefighter, suggested that I go down to the local volunteer station and just go check it out. Go, see what it's about. And I immediately fell in love with it, doing pack drills, very basic level 240 firefighter stuff on a small gravel driveway station in Middle Tennessee.
Very cool.
Oh, that was down in Tennessee.
That was in Tennessee.
The volunteer part.
Okay. Yeah.
So you actually didn't start firefighting like around here. You were out of state then when you.
Yeah, I was out of state. So my life has actually gone full circle. I was born and raised in Central Ohio. We moved to South Carolina when I was 11. Went to college in Nashville. I was recruited by Cummins. Moved down to Louisiana, and then literally backtracked. I got a little bit what I thought was a better job back in Nashville. Got back made the transition into firefighting, moved back to South Carolina, and then my wife got a job up here, so moved back to Ohio.
Very nice. Yeah.
It's a lot of moving.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Or my dog's like chewing on the laptop charger, so it's going to be a shocking experience for him.
Oh, but he's so cute.
So how long have you been in it now? That's 2010 to now?
2000. Well, I graduated the fire academy with the basic level of training in 2011. So just over 10 years.
And now you're I know it's in Columbus. Is it Westerville?
I'm in Central Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a northern suburb of Columbus.
Awesome. And you're a member here. You're in here almost every day. You do jiu-jitsu. You lift weights. Talk about how important fitness is to what you do for a living, and then you can tell us what got you into the martial arts.
Yeah. Well, it's obviously vitally important to what we do. I think having a high level of physicality, being physically fit, just being healthy in general helps you be a better firefighter and thus, serve the community better.
Would you do most of your coworkers share that feeling? Do most of them work out as well, or?
Yeah, the guys that I work with are a bunch of savages. Everybody's out there, lifting weights, either before duty, on duty, or sometimes even after. But yeah, somebody's constantly on a treadmill or pushing a sled or doing dummy drags. We have a few guys that are complete sociopaths and will do like CrossFit style workouts with air packs and stuff like that on.
With all the gear on. And
yeah. Really get after it.
That's really cool, because I think that's one thing that I always think should be probably mandatory, right, for emergency services and people to be in. They don't have to be like the most fittest person in the world, but they need to be in shape because of how emotionally, physically, and mentally demanding that job is.
Oh, absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head when you said mentally too. It's a lot of PTSD, a lot of mental health issues, to go along with the being physically fit. I do think being physically fit helps with the mental aspect as well. Kind of clear your head a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think too, it prepares you, at least what I've kind of seen in life or whatever. I mean, obviously this would be an extreme. Yours would be a little more extreme because of the circumstances you're put in. But like jujitsu and stuff or working out helps you deal with like the adrenaline dump and getting through something hard or dealing with something where, because if you go to a medical call or whatever, obviously you're probably your blood pressure gets raised and you starting to get depending on the situation you get more physically and mentally heightened or whatever, and have to deal with those emotions and stuff like that when you're trying to execute whatever your objective is at that call.
Oh, absolutely. It's the that metaphor of the duck where calm on the surface, but you're
underwater
paddling like crazy underneath.
Well, I know you've mentioned that down in Tennessee you kind of got into MMA a little bit. Is that what got you on the mats, or did you feel like you needed some self-defense training as well for what you do?
So my departments ran into a couple of issues like that, but nothing, it doesn't happen frequently. It has happened. It does happen. It does help.
You got, like you said, you got to fight with people?
It doesn't happen a whole lot, but it unfortunately does happen. My training for like jujitsu and stuff like that has a lot to do with, I've done a lot of this. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. I've done strength stuff, a lot of like powerlifting, even dabbled in bodybuilding and stuff like that. It's more for the, thinking on your feet, just being more well-rounded. So being strong's awesome. It has tons of benefits. But it's not everything. You need the little bit of cardiovascular, a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of.
And you need to know how to use that strength as well.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard you said like basically critical thinking skills. What was interesting is like a side note. My uncle's a software engineer in Oregon or whatever. So when he actually applied for that job, as made me think of it. One of the reasons he actually got hired was because he was a brown belt in jiu-jitsu at the time. So the CEO of that company or whatever, I think he maybe did jiu-jitsu or something. So obviously there's that relevance there. But there's a bunch of research articles that show that people that practice jiu-jitsu on a regular basis have better critical thinking skills and like you said, deal with situations like very, very quickly and stuff like that, and think of solutions.
Yeah, be able to keep calm under pressure. And
that's what I was just going to say. That's probably the biggest.
Oh yeah, it's a game changer. It's like being smashed in the bottom of north south or something like that. It's, you got to be able to think, and it's real similar to we were in a training fire a couple of weeks ago, and it was the same thing. It was that like oppressive heat that that claustrophobic almost kind of feeling, and to be able to slow down, think.
Well, you got the fire, you might have people inside. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to diagnose immediately on the spot, right?
Yeah. On a lot of, on the
under
fly
pressure. So,
yeah. What, I've heard a lot of firefighters, is it mostly medical calls, right? I mean, it's not like you see houses getting, catching on fire a whole bunch like these days or,
no. So it's about 80%. So about 80% of what we do is medical in nature.
Okay.
what was I going to say? This is kind of going back to what you said a second ago about running into issues. Where do you stand on fire and EMS carrying on the job? Good idea, bad idea?
As far as EMS
and fire carrying a weapon on them.
We can't.
I know, but where do you stand? Do you think you guys should be?
That's you hear debates on it, both sides. I can see the argument for both sides. Ultimately, why do people call 911 and want the fire service and the paramedics there to help? We don't want to be, I guess, a threat in any way, shape, or form.
Because most of the time, police is going to be present on the scene when you guys
so
get there.
If we get into those scary situations like abuse out of domestic or something like that, assaults, the police are already there, so they do their thing. We do our thing.
And what is you guys have a pretty good relationship with the police department? Is it a working? Yeah. We had a couple of cops the other day come in for pizza night at Firehouse Tradition. We eat pizza on Saturday nights. We had a couple of cops come in and join us.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Homemade or ordered out?
We order out.
Yeah.
I work with a guy who his wife owns a pizza shop in the district, so we try to support the local business. And
nice. Well, speaking of family, what is your job hard on your wife and kids?
Yeah, so firewives are a different breed. My wife is one. I was raised by one. It's the idea that you marry somebody, but you're still a single parent like 33% of the time. Like I'm on duty and the toilet's clogged. Like, sorry, that's kind of on you. I can't come home to unclog a toilet or, things like that. I got a call from my wife a couple of months ago that, hey, there's water coming through the ceiling downstairs. I'm at a hospital. Like I can't.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
right.
Well,
not to mention she's got homework. She's got to get the kid to practice. She's got everything.
Oh yeah. No, and she has her own career. She's very successful. She's got her job, her wants, her wish, her desires. And then we have a child, and got to make sure that he gets to soccer practice and mom stuff.
Right. And Jesse was saying the day he was in, I mean, he said the same thing you did about the wives, just about the police, but he was saying they should have their own day. There's days to appreciate the military and days to appreciate EMS, and he thinks there should be a day where you just acknowledge the sacrifices that your wives make. And
not us as firefighters, but like I mentioned before, like the firewives are just I don't think enough credit gets paid to those women. Probably
all emergency service wives, right?
Yeah, because I mean, even like nurses and police officers, they're still gone for 12 hours a day usually. So not having a spouse for long stints of time and kind of being by yourself can be quite challenging.
So how do you guys work that out when you're home? Do you take on more and tell her, okay, now it's time for you to relax? Or do you have like a kind of a system you've worked out?
So because we both work, I try to step up a little more when I am home. My wife and I kind of have it worked out to where there's like a handful of chores that she likes to see done. So I know like when I get home, no matter what day I've had, what mood I'm in, anything like that, it's like I know the bed needs made, the laundry needs done, and the dishes need done. Those are like her three like things.
And you cook her dinner, right? Dinner's waiting for her when she's
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very cool. So what's probably your number one call? I mean, obviously the information you're allowed to share or whatever, but like, what's your most memorable call you've been on? I mean, it could be funny, it could be scary. I mean, it doesn't have, there's not a specific thing you're looking for. I guess your most memorable call.
Most memorable call. We had a guy get into a high-speed chase in front of the station, whip a couple donuts on the front ramp, and take off. That was kind of neat.
Really?
Yeah, we heard a tire screeching, and next thing you know, we see a guy peeling out of the. Yeah.
You just did it for.
Yeah, I don't know if he was joyriding or what, and yeah.
Well, you guys didn't do anything, right?
No, they caught him about half a mile up the road, and we went on him.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
There's a specific reason why he was doing that, or
I have no idea.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, we had the police officer was talking about going on a call or whatever, and right, he said like a bunch of people were throwing up at a party or whatever. Do you remember that, Matt?
Oh yeah, they were all drunk, and he said he didn't know if it was because they were nervous because the cops were there or what it was, but one person puked, and that made someone else puke, and the next thing you know, there's like half of these 60 kids or whatever on their hands and knees throwing up. He's like,
they said it sounded like bullfrogs.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Somebody put Epicac in the punch bowl.
Right.
And how important is your faith in what you do and what you see and what you potentially could walk into on a day-to-day basis?
It's important, and you have obviously varying degrees of faith throughout, the fire service. As far as dealing with the stuff that we see, and I guess in my own personal life, having family and close friends and people like that pass away, and bad things happen to good people. And I guess what personally gives me the most comfort is I don't know. Maybe there's, a greater plan that I don't know or don't understand or can't comprehend. And it's not my job to comprehend at the end of the day. It's my job to help. People call 911 because they need help. We didn't do that, but we're often sometimes somebody's last resort. So we didn't cause the problem. We're there to fix the problem and to help in any way we can.
Yeah. What's the number one thing you wish people knew about firefighters or EMS that maybe someone doesn't know, or something you wish people did know about them?
Oh, well, I think we talked about it before, like with the fire wives, the amount of stress that the career can put on not just us but our families. It's literally a full support system,
right? And also too, probably with how stressful and stuff you're doing, because I assume you're doing this because you really want to help people, right? And it's not that you're going to become a millionaire either, being
definitely not
being a firefighter.
No, it's the old adage of it's not a career, it's a calling. I was in a point in my life where it was a passion, it was a drive to try to better my community, be a better person.
Right.
Yeah, just give.
Right.
Now, would you say this got you out of that kind of the darkness and the drinking and everything you're going through?
Yeah, absolutely.
And was that because the focus wasn't on you, but it was about on somebody else, and you thought, okay, I can do something?
No, yeah, that's exactly what it was. It kind of got me out of the, that, I don't want to say selfishness, but the self-loathing.
Feeling sorry for yourself.
It sounds like it gave you a purpose as well, which I think is huge for people. They have to have a purpose.
Yeah, and I was already getting a feeling of like missing that sense of purpose. Even before 2010, I was kind of burned out. Like, am I doing the right thing with my life? And then, 2010 happened, and it's like, well, I need to do this.
And how old were you at that time?
I was 23, 24.
That's young, man. That's young to come to kind of that point. Like, am I doing the right thing with my life? Some people haven't even really started their life yet.
Yeah.
And that's cool that you had it at such an early age and you could figure everything out and get your life going. I forget what I was going to say. What brought you back up to Ohio? Was you said your wife's job?
Yeah, it was just by pure coincidence. Like I said, I was born and raised until I was 11 in Central Ohio. My wife just, hey, have you heard of Mount Vernon, Ohio?
No.
Yeah, yeah,
Had you?
Yeah. We had friends and family in the area, and she's like, well, I got a job up here, and she's like, what do you think about moving back? All right, let's give it a shot. I had a couple of full-time jobs in South Carolina lined up when I got back. Firefighters don't make a lot of money. Actually, last time I looked, about 75% of the nation's firefighters are volunteer. South Carolina especially doesn't make a whole lot of money. It's like, well, a little bit higher paying job, better job opportunities.
Which I think is completely outrageous that, like what you're saying, like 75% of the firefighters are volunteer. Like I think it's a profession, just like well, I mean, you guys technically do more than just paramedics. I mean, a lot of people are paramedics, and they're doing all this other stuff. So it's like, I feel like it should be something that our government should, you guys should get paid like a police officer, or, there should be more room for that. That kind of disappoints me.
People do volunteer, and I think there's a few in this gym. I mean, what they do is amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
They work their full-time jobs, and then they do this.
Yeah, I would put them in the same class as like the fire wives. And it's for them, it's purely a passion. It's they don't do it for the money, they don't do it for the glory, they don't do it for it's the ones that I've met do it because they genuinely care about their community. Yeah. They care about the people in their community, and
yeah, it's really cool.
It's amazing.
What's how hard was your training for the firefighting, as far as did you go to do like any college in it, or did you have? I know you have to take, it's like Fire 1 and Fire 2 or something. I can't remember all the coursework. So it's actually kind of funny. I was actually, it was the career I was thinking about doing before.
Sweet.
Yeah, before I started the gym or took over the gym. I was actually looking at being a firefighter is what I wanted to do, but I ended up doing this right now. So
yeah, I went through an academy in South Carolina, and then went through the reaccreditation process to get my cards transferred to Ohio. So I went through a 4-month academy in South Carolina, moved up here, got all my stuff transferred, went through a semester of EMT basic, took a semester of college level anatomy and physiology, and then about 13 months of paramedic school.
Mm. And then paramedic school is like a full-time job in its own, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so are you a paramedic then too, right? Because I know that's when I was looking at it, I knew they wanted basically all your firefighters have to be a paramedics, basically, if you were.
Yeah. So I'm actually a firefighter. I'm a paramedic. I'm a hazmat technician, and I'm a fire inspector.
Which you just finished up the training for that.
A couple months ago.
Yeah. And then what about the physical exam? Is it something that like someone like Ian could pass, or do you have to actually be in shape for it?
Smoke it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's I can't remember what it was. It's not that demanding, right?
Yeah. And the physical agility to get hired changes from entity to entity. So, Department A's physical agility might be different than, B's.
Oh, so it's by department. It's not by state or anything.
As far as I know, there's no like state, like minimum standard. There's one place in another small municipality within Columbus that, have you guys ever heard of the Firefighter Combat Challenge?
Mm-mm.
So
I think I have. Yeah.
So it's in full gear. You run up a couple flights of stairs, drag a 45-pound hose load up once you get to the top, all the way back down. Kaiser sled, dummy drag, hose pull. Like it's brutal, and you have a pretty strict time limit to get it. So it can be, as brutal or, not as the department sees. It all depends on what they're looking for.
That just reminded me of you. Has your department ever done this rest and challenge up at Foundation Park that they have every summer?
A department that I was part-time with had a couple of guys that did it. Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah. They do a rest and tower challenge.
Fire and police.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know you got a podiatry appointment to get to. It's
fun.
10:40.
Podiatry?
Podiatry.
What is that?
Yeah, foot doctor.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, thanks for coming in, Kyle. Is there anything else you'd like to share or anything like that about firefighting?
No, thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah. If you believe it, you can achieve it. And don't forget to give us a like, follow, and all that good stuff. And then Matt will send you a picture with a shirt off.
Beautiful.
How do I get on that?
Thanks for listening, everybody.